Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy, and this is a dry snuff review. This is the first review of group number 3. All the groups are in the playlist dry snuff, where I may have it as nasal snuff, but it's all in one playlist. So, this group 3 is all going to be German products. I do have an opening video for this from last week, I believe. They are all Schmalzlers. All right. It's a German product. It is unique to Germany. Originally, I believe Bavaria, the state of Bavaria, which would be in southeast Germany, is where this was first produced. Now, I'm not exactly sure if Bernard is in that part of the country, but basically what a Schmalzler is unlike English snuffs, which are all by law hydrated with water, this is hydrated with oil. Now, I had hoped to do a bit of background research before I got on here in front of the camera this evening, but things around me in the real world here are not cooperating, and I did not have a time. So, if anything is wrong here, and I know there are Germans watching, newsfreak.com being one of them. If I have anything wrong, correct me in the comments section. I believe this is my understanding of things. So this is, let me get the right, Schmalzler Franzl, double fermented Brazil. This is, I believe, the flagship product that they put out as their original product from Bernard. Now, since it's not hydrated with water, it is hydrated with, and I believe it is paraffin oil is used. What that translates into, number one, as I said in the opening video for this group, do not powder a pipe bowl with this, because you don't want to inhale anything coming off of paraffin oil, obviously. Using it in the nose, what you have is a heavier product. All right. When dumped on the hand, which you will see, it looks fluffy, sort of like the Paschal and Bernard snuffs. The difference is that this is a much coarser grind, or cut, if you would. So there may be some sneezing involved here, because I have been practicing. Now, these any tap box that you see like this with the side slider, they never have a safety seal. Not the ones I get anyway. I've never gotten one with some sort of seal covering. The Gawith from Paschal, these jobs, they have a safety catch when you get them. But anything you see like this, no matter what the company, it does not. So I have been experimenting doing this because I am completely new to Schmalzlers. Schmalzlers, yes. Really new, obviously. I'm still practicing how to say it. The grind is much coarser. Now, you can't quite tell when I put it on my hand. It just looks light and fluffy like the Paschal tobacco snuffs. But, and I'm not going to show you this, you can thank me later, when I blow my nose afterwards, it becomes quite clear that the grind of this, the cut of this, is much, much more coarse than any dry snuff I've ever had. So between the grind being really coarse and the product being hydrated with oil, what you get is a heavy product. All right. Why that's important and why you want to keep that in mind. Because it can be a bit of a mess. Because it's heavy enough that it can give some issue keeping it in your nose. The hell does he mean keeping it in your nose? What's he doing? It will fall out. Literally. It will fall out of your nose. On the other side of things, you don't want to take it up, if you're new to it, as I found out already, too hard, too far back, because it's a bit of a delayed reaction, but you will start sneezing. Unlike other snuffs, though, you will not stop, or at least that is my own personal experience. Okay, you will start sneezing, and you will keep sneezing. And eventually you will give up and realize you are defeated, and you will blow your nose because you just want, at that point, to stop sneezing. So that said, I have the mouse here already centered on the pause button. If I start sneezing, I may just pause the video because I can't quite tell you when it's going to stop. Anyway, so we have a heavier product with a coarse grind. All right? It's very rich stuff, but I'll get to that after I use it. So I'm going to knock some out here, if I can get this centered on. See how it's coming out in like clumps? Sort of like the German snuff products. The difference here is that those are not as coarse. Now, it's fairly dark stuff, all right? And it is heavy. I am not going to do a lot here because that didn't work out for me very well. All right, so how do I want to do this? Usually, although I am getting slightly better at it, you end up with your nose powdered like that. I just lost some. I don't know if you saw that, but I just lost some. Now, it doesn't make me sneeze right away. But if I start, I will probably be hitting the pause button because, yeah, I feel it coming. The other problem of this is I actually feel it coming back out of my nose. So now you get it in, but now you're doing a little trying to keep it up. And it's sort of a battle. I mean, once you get used to it, I suppose, but I'm very new to this. And if I don't sneeze, this is the first time. First time for everything, right? My eyes are watering a little bit. So, this stuff, it's incredibly rich. All right? It's darker than almost all the snuffs I've had thus far on this channel anyway. But it's very rich in the scent or flavor, if you would. Now, I did yesterday go over the reviews at MrSnuff.com, which is where I got this. This was part of that order that got messed up, and they sent a second one. To their credit, they took care of it at no charge. They sent the order again, and they sent it a priority mail, so they at least had tracking of it. So, I mean, that bodes. As I said, I am not in any way affiliated with Mr. Snuff. It's just what I use to get this stuff. And Duncan is moving around, so let me hit the pause button while he gets situated here. Hold on for a second. And I am back. All right. So, I did some, and I didn't sneeze. And then Duncan got up and started getting some water and doing his thing. Duncan is older. He's my Jack Russell Terrier. So he can be sort of distracting while I'm doing this. So that's why I hit the pause button. But then I was sitting there, because he takes his time about everything at this age. And I was like, I should do some more. Yeah, that was like 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes ago. I've been sneezing ever since. Sometimes with dry snuff, doing more of it will actually, for whatever reason, stop any urge to sneeze. That is not the case with this stuff, okay? Not at all. Anyway, so it's heavy in the nose. Do I still have... Okay. The second time I was all messed up. It's heavy in the nose, and you got to keep sort of, to keep from losing it. And that's if you're not sneezing. Nicotine-wise, I don't really notice anything. There is no uptick at all. Which is the case sometimes with some of the drier English products, especially if they are meant to take the place of smoking. They have a higher nicotine level. With this, nothing, but at the same time, very satisfying all across the board. This particular scent, or flavor if you want to go by that. Okay. It's very rich, all right? Now, I did read the reviews over at Mr. Snuff yesterday, I guess it was. And there are quite a number of them for this particular product. I think there were over 20 of them. And there were themes. Cocoa or chocolate was a theme. I don't get that so much with this. Dried fruit, fig was another theme. That I do get. And then there was a maple syrup theme. The chocolate cocoa, although I could see maybe how someone would get that, I personally am not seeing that. Maple syrup, syrup-y maybe, but the maple thing I'm not really getting. Dried fruit and definitely fig is what I am getting from this. The stuff is sweet. Now, how can something be sweet in the nose scent-wise? If scent and taste are connected as they are, then yeah, in a way this is sweet. It's hard to explain unless you actually do this stuff yourself. It's a very interesting product. It's a very different method of making the product. It's something I'm glad I tried. Can't particularly see using this. Now, in his defense, I don't use any nasal snuff really outside of the home. Okay? It's not something I do in front of people. I don't have the experience. Number one, around here, people would be like, what the hell what is he snorting over there? I think I'm getting a drip. No, great. But this stuff, definitely. There's no way I would pull this out even at a social gathering or whatnot. There's not that I go to any of them either, but there's no way. Between getting it on your nose while you're trying to take it, having it fall out, and the sneezing that it can produce, this is not a crowd-friendly product by any means. Not for my use anyway. My experience isn't high enough. That said, it is a very interesting product, and I find it enjoyable. Sneezing aside, not being the easiest thing to take, it's a very satisfying product. And without you actually doing it, you're just going to have to take my word for it. But this grouping that I got, I'm looking forward to. Unfortunately, I got to spread them out a bit, but these are something very, very different. Even from all the dry snuffs that I've done up to this point. Anyway, this has been the review of Bernard's original Schmalzler, Franzl, It is the Brazil double fermented. It is oil hydrated. It's a heavy product. Seems to have a satisfying nicotine, although you don't notice the nicotine uptick. It seems to be satisfying any craving I have for nicotine. Scent-wise, scent flavor, again, very satisfying. I agree with the reviews that are saying a dry fruit fig, and partially with the part about maple syrup. There's a syrupy aspect to it, but I don't know if maple is quite the word for that syrup. Anyway, so something very different and something that I'm very glad that I bought. So again, Schmalzler, Franzl, the original from Bernard. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy. I have not been around to find out who the new subscribers are. They are out there, and I will be doing shout outs on the next video, which will most likely be a chew review. As for my associated channels, the guys that I hang around with on here, you can find that on my homepage under the featured channels off to the side, which I guess is over here technically. I do want to say thank you and call out Little Kid to Savage, because number one, he comments on basically every video I've ever put up, and there's a lot of them now. And also because I kept missing him when I said I would. So Little Kid to Savage, I believe he uploads content himself. Younger guys may want to check that out. I do hope everyone is well. Do take care of yourselves. And as always, God bless.